Hi Burst Educators, my name is Lauren Sider and I'm the product manager for the Burst Reading Intervention. We've made some updates that I'm excited to tell you about. The first update will help you learn about how the Burst team recommends you form groups. We typically see quicker student progress in schools that form groups across classes because the larger pool of students allows Burst to form more homogeneous groups and generate more targeted instruction. In light of that, we've made it easier for you to learn about cross-class grouping inside the Burst interface. You can click on Learn More here to read about the benefits of cross-class grouping. There you'll learn that in addition to forming more homogeneous groups, the cross-class model typically yields fewer groups, making it easier to serve all in need, and removes the need to plan parallel activities for the students not receiving Burst. You can also get to an overview of the benefits and disadvantages of each grouping model by clicking here. This table is a great resource as you think about how you can maximize the growth of your students this year. In addition to forming groups across classes, another critical step to maximizing your kids' growth is completing placement testing before forming groups. To make it easier to see if Burst has complete placement test results for your kids, we now flag the kids who are missing results. For example, in these classes, there are 3 kids who haven't finished the placement test. Instead of grouping today, the intervention coordinator at their school should ask staff to finish assessing, wait overnight for Burst to analyze the results, and then form groups tomorrow. We have a guide for how to complete the placement test here. The guide has steps for completing the test both during and outside of testing windows. In addition to completing placement testing, it is important to progress monitor all kids in the group at the end of each cycle so Burst can target instruction throughout the year. Given the importance of this step, we've made it easier to see which measures you need to administer before requesting your next Burst. For example, here you can see that Ginny and Sonia need to be given NWF and Burst regular word measure before their interventionist requests the next set of lessons. We've also made it possible for you to see the measures you need to administer inside the assessment app. One note about progress monitoring. In addition to monitoring the skills your kids are working on, you may be asked to progress monitor skills that precede the ones your kids are developing in Burst. Burst does this when it detects that your kids may not have developed a skill that comes before the ones they're working on. Let me give you an example. Let's say you are working with this first grader, Sonia, in a group focused on blending and regular words. Sonia joined your school in the middle of the year, so she wasn't given PSF when the rest of your kids got it at BOY. Because Burst needs a complete profile for all kids in the program, you will see a reminder to administer PSF to Sonia. Also, the required labels and Burst measures now show up in the Dibbles Next and Reading 3D sections of the assessment app for Burst kids. This means that those of you who are used to going to the Dibbles Next or Reading 3D sections can now complete the required progress monitoring for Burst kids in the place you're used to going. The required labels disappear when you administer measures to prevent students from getting tested with the same probes more than once per cycle. This last update will also help you use Burst in a way that maximizes the growth of your kids. If Burst has out-of-date results about your students' skills when you request lessons, Burst flags the skills with out-of-date results to let you know that your current Burst was requested based on incomplete information and may not meet the needs of each student in the group. If you see these flags in one of your groups, go to the Prepare for Next Burst tab, administer the required measures, wait 1 day for Burst to analyze the results, and then request new lessons. If you have questions or feedback, click on the Share Feedback Here link below this video. I'll receive your note and get back to you at the email address you provide. Thank you for listening and hope your school year is off to a great start.